So what you're saying is you're going to ignore my advice, and then you're asking me if I do this other thing, what will happen? Well, you could run into some problems. Like I already mentioned, if you ask for too much, they eliminate you. Just that simple. They're talking to an average of 6 people, okay, when they do physical interviews. When they do virtual interviews, they're usually talking to slightly more, okay, maybe 10 people. So if they talk to you and you're one of 10 people and you ask for a really high salary towards the top of the range or even beyond the range, they're just going to say, well, screw it. Like, why go down the path with this person? I got 9 other people here and they're all willing to do it for the minimum amount, so it seems. So I think I'll just pursue them rather than you. They haven't got to know you. They don't see evidence of how brilliant you are yet because they just met you. But now they're not going to go any further because they've eliminated you from a technicality. That's why the strategy that usually works is get in there and then have them get to know you, like stay in the game long enough for them to see your value, see how awesome you are, see your soft skills and how much rapport you have, and all your technical chops, and then have them want you. And once that happens, they won't have as much of a problem paying a little bit more to get you because they've seen how awesome you are. That's the idea. So that's why I would not do what you're suggesting here. SA2 USA says, would the income number you give the recruitment team indicate to them what value you are able to add and the level of your ability and contribution? Listen, we're dealing with people, so everything is going to happen some of the time. I've had people tell me, oh yeah, I told them to F off and I got the job. Yeah, I'm sure that worked with certain individuals in certain industries under certain conditions. Yeah, I'm sure that did work. But would I recommend that as a strategy across the board? No. Telling the interviewer to F off probably will not go well for you, right? So you're asking this question and saying, if I say, oh yeah, I need $1 million to do this job, some very high number, and they go, ooh, wow, that must mean that, you really know your stuff. Maybe that does work for a couple of people out there. But for the majority of people, that doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. You see, hundreds of people applied for the job if it's a posted job, and they're told that they have a range that they can offer, like in terms of compensation, right? And usually, officially or unofficially, if they get a good candidate for close to the bottom of the range, that makes them look like a hero, if it's a recruiter. So you have a lot of things stacked against them wanting to just pay you an exorbitantly high amount of money. It's not always like that. The primary thing they're looking for is someone who can do the job really well. But if you're dealing with a recruiter, recruiters care about requirements. And the reason they ask these questions, especially early in the process, is to eliminate you, not to accommodate you, right? You think that they're trying to accommodate you. They're not. They're trying to eliminate you. Okay, the only time they're sort of trying to accommodate you is at the offer stage, where they've said, we pick you. We've decided, out of all the people we talk to, we want you. So here's our offer. What we'd like you to do now is sign it and return it, so we can get on with this. But if you say, well, wait a minute, I need a little bit more here, and I need a little bit of this, a little bit of that, they go, okay, fine, whatever. Just sign it, and then let's get rolling. So you have a little bit of power at that point, but you don't have it at any point before the offer stage. Okay, so I would not recommend that strategy of trying to get them to think that you're valuable simply because you ask for a lot of money. The whole point of what they do is to get somebody at a bargain, so that kind of doesn't work. You've said companies sometimes basically flat out lie about salary ranges and limits. Are you going to challenge me on that? If earning $72,000 and looking at a similar job at a new company with a posted range of $55,000 to $60,000, think they'd get to 72? I don't know. I mean, how am I supposed to know? I have no idea what the job is. I have no idea what industry we're talking about. It's possible, but what are the odds? I have no idea. Yeah, it's possible, but it's also not possible. You know what I'm saying? Some companies will, some companies won't. If it's the government, for example, probably not. They're probably not going to be lying about their salary ranges. If it's the government, that's like one extreme of the continuum. But some smaller or mid-sized company in the private sector, they probably will be, especially for if they're looking for like manual labor jobs or something like that. they'll use every trick in the book to haggle you down. And if they can make you think that you're getting a good deal, then that's what they want, right? Because the reality is they could pay a lot more if they wanted, but they want to get you for cheap. And if you just accept it, then they got away with it. You really have to look at the situation. It's not going to be possible to say with certainty, but you can make an educated guess based on what industry they're in, the nature of that industry. If they're in like a boom or bust cycle at the moment, that also affects it. I'm saying like the culture of that industry. Culture means how they do things there. For example, if you're in the used car sales business, I'm sure they'll totally haggle you down, shamelessly. You know what I mean? If they're in the banking industry, well, it might be a bit more forthright.